Hey, my friend, Mark Delaney here. My son calls me the purpose in life mentor. I guess that's good enough for me. Essentially, I'm just a guy who cares about people. I was telling someone today at the grocery store, they asked what I do, and I said, I'm just a butler. I'm a butler for people who want to live an important life, a serious life, and I just exist kind of in the edges of their life to support them on their journey. I want to talk to you today about conflict and specifically what person causes the most conflict? Here's the answer: the person who fears it. I hate to say it, but it's true. People who fear conflict cause it the most. You see, life is not about the avoiding of conflict, it's about learning to navigate through it. The people who cause conflict to be really destructive are those who fear it. Let's say that you and I are together. We want to take a rafting trip, and it's going to be fun. And we're going to go down this river. When we get down this river, there's all these places we're going to stop at, and all these experiences we're going to have. But along the river, there's going to be rapids. Rapids represent conflict. Well, let's say that you hate conflict and you can't deal with it. So every time you see rapids coming, you quickly start rowing toward the shore, and you're behind me, and I'm in front of you, and I'm trying to go. I know that the rapids are coming, and that's a conflict, but it's normal and it's going to be okay. But every time it's time to go through these rapids, I don't know it, but you are rowing us to the shore, and it actually causes us to hit the rapids the wrong way. And the rapids become worse because we're out of balance or we're at the wrong angle. I'm trying to take on these rapids in a way that we can effectively navigate, but you're behind me rowing in a way that is fighting against me. I don't know it. And so the rapids become worse. The conflict becomes worse. And every time the rapids come again, if you're afraid of conflict, then you'll respond in a way that makes the matter far worse. Worse yet, imagine if you're connected to a human being like in a marriage, and every time the rapids come, the person says, we need to go to the shore. This is wrong. This is bad. And so now you have to row to the shore because you want to please your spouse. And you go over to the shore, and now it's like, well, okay, I guess they're okay now. They're happy. There's no rapids or conflict. But as a person, you're sitting there thinking, well, this is the ultimate conflict. I'm watching this river go by us, and down this river was our goals and our dreams. And they're happy because we've avoided conflict. But I feel like this is the worst conflict of all. I'm not living the life I was made for. And I feel like I'm living in the fears of my spouse, avoiding conflict. What I see is we're avoiding our dreams and our goals. People who fear conflict cause the worst of conflict. This plays out in families big time. You don't want your kids to like get in trouble, and so let's let's excuse everything and let's find a way to kind of make it appear that my kid isn't a problem. I don't want them to need to be disciplined. I don't want them. I don't. And we create kids that grow up and don't know how to stand on their own 2 feet and navigate through the troubles of life because we've always done everything we can to navigate conflict so that our kids don't have it. And then we release them into a world full of conflict that they will face, but they don't know what to do with it. And that's the ultimate conflict. My fear of conflict when my kid was 12 causes them to face the worst of conflict completely unprepared when they're 22. See, when it comes to conflict, many people, the initial thought is, this is bad. That's number one. Here comes conflict. This is bad. Number two, if there's conflict, someone is the enemy. Like someone has done something wrong because there's conflict, which leads to number three, which is the fear that, oh my gosh, this conflict is going to forever ruin someone's life. It's going to ruin me or ruin my kids or ruin my friends. And so this conflict, like, we have to avoid it because number one, it's bad. Number two, someone's wrong and we don't want to fight about that. And number three, it's going to be worse forever. So the only goal is to avoid the conflict. There's a much better way of looking at conflict. Number one, conflict's normal. It's completely normal. Number two, instead of thinking, oh, there's an enemy because of conflict, if you see conflict as normal, you can think this: I can help. Conflict's normal, I can help. And number three, we can begin to think and learn that conflict actually makes us better for our future. Navigating conflict is how we learn how to parent our kids. Avoiding conflict is the opposite of what we want. Facing conflict is how we learn how to love our spouse. Avoiding conflict is what creates a massive wall between us. My friend, nobody causes more conflict than those who fear it. Now, who fears conflict? Basically everybody. The question is, do you stay that way? Will you live the rest of your life afraid of the rapids? Life is a journey. It's a journey down the river, and rapids will consistently come. If you fear conflict, you end up living your life on the shore, which is the worst conflict of all. Once you learn how to navigate conflict, you can use conflict. You can use the rapids to actually increase your speed and help you get where you want to go in a better way. If you fear conflict, you're a normal human. But do you want to stay in that way of thinking, or do you want to do something about it? I'm going to put a link in the description of this video to a course that I have put together about conflict, how to be the hero during conflict. Because conflict is always going to come, whether you're running a business, whether you have friendships, whether you have a family. Conflict is coming. If you can be the person that's not afraid of it, you can be the person who's the hero for everyone. And the people you work with, your friends, your family, they're going to thank you for it. Because when conflict comes, there just needs to be one person in the middle of it who's willing to say, you know what? We're going to be okay. Let's talk about this. Let's face it, but let's talk about this. My friend, you do not have to live the rest of your life fearing conflict. And when you stop fearing it, you can start being the hero for everybody whenever it comes. So if you need help with this, check out the series, the video course I put together on how to be the hero during conflict. You can change people's lives when you stop fearing conflict. Thanks for watching.